I had helicopters flying over looking for me that night. I had police yelling out or putting the sirens on. I could hear them, but when I'd go towards them, it was pitch black and there was like a big drop, and it was like, I can't do this tonight.
Welcome to Leading and Growing Your Real Estate Business. I'm James Short, and this show dives into the real stories behind the agents and the leaders shaping our industry. No polished highlight reels, just honest conversations about what's working, what's not, and how they're building businesses that actually grow. Each episode, I sit down with someone in the trenches, top performers, rising leaders, business owners who've cracked the code and others still figuring it out. We unpack the wins, the failures, the habits, and the lessons you can put to work straight away. Before we dive in, can I ask a favor? And please subscribe or follow on the platform you're listening or watching this. The more we grow, the bigger impact we can have together. And thank you. Let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got an amazing guest with us today, Brett Storrier, who has 20 years in real estate sales, 35 years in sales total. Oh my goodness, he's a mover and shaker. He and his wife started their own real estate business in November 2025. He's a family man with 4 kids, born and bred in Goulburn, New South Wales locally. And he's always done sport, took up a new passion recently, or not recently, a number of years ago, running. So I'm looking forward to unpacking that from one runner to another. His business name is Storrier Realty, and check it out, storrierrealty.com.au. Brett, super honoured and privileged to jump on the show today, mate. Thank you.
Oh, mate, no, my honour to be asked to come on the show. I appreciate it.
Mate, what got you in? Let's go back to those humble beginnings. What got you back into the industry in the first place?
I was working at Retrovision, for those that might remember that electrical retailer. I did that. Yeah, did that after high school, and my stepmother actually asked if I'd be interested in doing real estate. She married my dad, and she'd come over from New Zealand and started her own company. And we started. I started working from home back in 2006 in real estate, and wasn't long she got an office, and 19 years, 9 months working together, and then it was my time to step up and do our own thing. Yeah.
And so what did you, I mean, obviously you would have seen some interesting insights over those 20 years, some ups and downs, some lefts and rights. What have you noticed as some of those biggest changes that you've gone through within the industry?
Oh, well, I guess we all sort of know this technology. It just keeps flying by. And, you know, the AI stuff's mind-boggling. But I just think it's more systems and database and, the websites and the competition and probably compliance and all the paperwork that comes with it. Yeah, and I think they've done some good stuff there, like to keep the industry clean and more, reliable salespeople and people working in the industry. And sometimes it seems a bit full on.
Yep.
Yeah.
So true, so true. Now, Goulburn is such a beautiful part of the world. You would have seen some huge changes in the area. What have been some of those changes in Goulburn?
Yeah, I mean, Goulburn, I go back all my life here, as you know, you've said, 50-odd years. I'll give it away a little bit.
Spring chicken still.
I remember just everything was free, as kids we rode our bikes everywhere, and we went in the drains because all these new subdivisions were being done, and I probably shouldn't say that, but there's not too many of them around now. So and just the development and the people, the growth. I mean, I think council here more recently have done a lot of good stuff with bringing things like the Performing Arts Centre to town, inclusive playgrounds, building walking tracks around the Wallandilly River. It used to be trails and cross country. Now it's just opened up for everyone. So you can ride your bike and you can go for family walks and park run. There's just been a lot of growth development, and I guess more people sort of. It's still a good sized town. It's still not crazy, rat racy, busy. I've certainly seen it, get a lot busier than it used to be, but it's still got that good kind of country vibe, but good services, and they've increased as well, the medical side of things. A lot of good things with the improvements over the years, I think.
Fantastic. And then has that then obviously reflected in pricing over the years? Like, what have you noticed within the pricing, and how has that changed, and how has that developed? Have you getting more people coming down from Sydney? What have you been noticing around that?
Yeah, you're spot on with Sydney. There was a period there where, excuse me, it was some time ago now, where it was a lot of Canberra-based people were buying here.
Yep.
Because Canberra's only 50 minutes away, and but Sydney, an hour and a half to Campbelltown. It's an easy trip now. And that of more recent years, I think, we've seen a lot more people from Sydney, but all sorts of areas. Often we've always been such a good location where we are. Obviously, that's been there forever, but it's taken a while for everyone to clue onto that. And I think prices, it's the affordability is still there, although obviously we have seen it rise, from where when I started, I remember blocks of land for 75, 90,000. They're 400 now.
Wow.
You could get a little 3-bedroom house for 120, 30,000. They're now, well, you're lucky to get anything much under 5 now. They're probably more than that, some of those. And COVID was a crazy time, as we all know. The regional areas, we saw 50% growth in the median price in those 2 years. But it sort of opened it up to more people seeing what a beautiful town we live in and how handy it is to everything.
So true. We experienced, I'm at Lennox Head, just near Byron, and obviously we experienced that crazy growth in COVID. Has it, yeah. I mean, it has dropped off quite considerably up here, but has it done the same, or has it managed to keep that same trajectory from where you guys are at?
Yeah, so look, James, I think there was a lot of the demand at the time during COVID were from, say, Sydney people wanting to get out, A, for the quieter location, B, it was just safer. At the time, the cities were really copying the virus, and people had money in their pocket. They couldn't spend it to go overseas. So we had people buying weekenders and they realised they could work from home in a nice, quieter country sort of lifestyle. But yeah, as far as the prices go, so I think what happened there, that a lot of the bigger acreage or even just bigger blocks, say a 5-acre lot with a house on it, we found they just went up crazy, 2.2 mil. Well, that's not crazy to a lot of listeners, I'm sure, but
no, it is for
5 acres.
Yeah,
but they dropped significantly, those ones that got pushed up quite a bit, and they probably haven't recovered. But the lower price point we find is the median has still been going up. Like, we had a lull there. We had 13 interest rate rises in a row, and everyone was affected then. But, it's been, with confidence in the market, it's gone up again, and we're at levels, higher in most categories, I guess, than back in 21, 22. Which is, we're holding our own. We're pretty insulated, I think, because we are still affordable for those around us in Sydney, Canberra, and the Highlands.
Yeah, great, fantastic, definitely. Now, 4 kids, busy household, right? How do you manage? How do you manage the different plates? How do you manage that juggling of kids? Because now your wife's in you both teamed up within the business. Like, how did you manage that when the kids were young and going through that? Because it's hectic, right? I get it. But I want to share to the listeners how you manage going through that process while still listing and selling, being an agent, and everything in between.
Yeah, well, I guess it's a good question. Sometimes you wonder. Look, I guess I've always had flexibility when I worked for my stepmom if we needed to get out and do something with the kids. And look, being 7 or 8 minutes from home in Goulburn, that's the beauty. It's not hard to get around places at short notice. And I just value the fact that I've always been able to go to kids' functions at school. I'm home every night. You have that time. And look, work gets busier, and it's as busy as it's ever been now in the last few months having our own business. But, I just think getting in a routine and, getting up early to do your run, so I'm not imposing on family time. My daughter drives me to work on her L's. That's great, and well, she drives to school, and then we swap, take them out, and then I'm off to work. So I guess now more recently, probably a bit overdue, but we've got a good roster system going where they're growing up a bit, so they're able to help more, I guess, with some of those chores around the town around the home. And it's great when it's not your turn to cook, particularly for my wife. Now she's in the business. There's one of our daughters that actually said that. She said, we need to have a family meeting. We need to have a roster.
Wow.
16-year-old. So great girl.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive. That's great.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about that. Like transitioning from, working with this, for you and with your stepmom and now having your own business with your wife and 4 kids. Like what have you noticed is the biggest change and the biggest shift from going from an agent now into owner?
There's a lot more responsibility. I guess there's a lot more hinges on you. There's a lot of learning. Like I don't claim to be an expert at all. I'm learning all the time, and I'm working through systems and getting my own systems and things I think where I can tweak and make them work really well to, I guess, continue to grow, continue to serve clients. And I think you have to grow and you have to look at new things, or you're going backwards because others are doing it.
Agent to an owner.
Being a business owner, yeah. So, I mean, I'm just amazed at how many subscriptions and the compliance and all those things you didn't have to deal with.
It's totally like
stepmom looked after all that. And,
you got this for that, that for that. Yep.
Yeah, so there's a lot of moving parts and working closer with staff. I mean, I got an inkling of it. I've just found that, working for yourself, there's a lot more to it. I was going to say that my stepmom would go away and I got a little bit of a feel for running the place a little bit more, but it still wasn't dealing with all the costs involved and paying the wages and doing those sorts of things. So, but it's great. I mean, it's like, you're doing it for you and your family rather than there's not such a limitation. It's you have control to sort of implement the right strategies to help, I guess, help your why, which is for family and the clients. I mean, I love helping clients and I just love, just having that, I guess. You did it as a salesperson, but as a business owner, it's another level. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, so true, so true. Now, you're a big fan of running. How did you get into running and what do you love about running?
Yeah, I am a bit passionate about that as well. Yeah, look, I had someone locally that worked for council actually that messaged me that, this park run is coming to Goulburn, and I didn't know anything about it. I didn't run or anything. I was never very good at school. I did the odd cross country, and I think I got in once for cross country, just snuck in somehow. But so anyway, we started, went to the first park run, and it just got me hooked. We went with all the family, and I remember the youngest, so that's 2018, February 18, it come to Goulburn. And I think it was your own thing. You could see, you could put into it what you get out of it. You could see that you could improve. I mean, I couldn't run 5Ks and I carried a water with me, and someone said, you don't need the water. Like, oh, okay. And I remember the first group run where it rained, I messaged the guy, oh, is it called off? He said, what are you talking about? Like, you're training for City to Surf. What happens if it rains on the day? Oh, yeah, fair enough. I just thought you might slip over or something. So it was probably, and then the camaraderie, like, and the networking and the people, it was, a great bunch of people. And for me, I love competition, and it was competition for myself to improve. But there was different people along the journey where you'd try and beat them, and then you'd go to the next level. And I guess it was a great habit. I felt good. I felt healthy. And to be honest, I think a lot of people in business talk about you need to do exercise is such an important part of business, of I guess your own health for mentally as well as physically. I just find when I do get a morning run in, I'm pumped for the day, and it really, you feel more productive, and it's always a good day.
Love it. So true. Big fan of that because it is so important. And you, as you said, you can control on so many different levels. It's good for competition, but it's also good to see where you progress for yourself personally and see what could be that potentially next level or next challenge that you get to. What's on the horizon? What are some of the projects that you're looking forward to? What's coming up over the next 6 to 12 months for you?
I guess it's a bit of consolidation period. It's keeping the level keel and keeping on track. And I think for us it's a gradual growth. It's implementing new things regularly. It's marketing and branding and getting yourself out there a little bit more. And I did some orders for some new things for marketing for the business that I think are a little unique. And I think that's something, having that point of difference and being offering something unique to help your clients. Staffing, I guess, is something we really want to build a good team, and we're very excited with some of those people we've got, and we're excited and I guess we're really motivated to get some other people to help with the amount of work that is happening. So look, projects at the moment are probably more business based than I used to have a bit with running a race and a goal, and I do want to still try and get that back a little bit more and continue to improve or get back to where I was and have some races and some more community stuff in that line as well. Yeah, that's sort of touching on a bit of the projects ahead, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Fantastic. Now, Brett, on the show, we have our 60-second quiz to find out a little bit more about our guests. Are you willing to play?
Oh, mate, for sure. Why not? Let's go.
Let's go. All right. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, probably like the old school, like the Mad Maxes and the Rockies. But I'm the sort of guy that I rarely see a movie I don't like. Some of the stuff I see with the kids, the Maze Runners and Divergent, I think it's called. But the old classics are still great to get back to.
Yeah, nice. What about your favorite food?
Favorite food? I love crumbed lamb or crumbed veal. Yeah,
nice.
A bit of
what
Italian.
About your favorite holiday destination?
Well, traditionally we went to Ulladulla as kids down the south coast, and there's a lot of good memories associated with that. But I reckon it's such a big world out there. I have travelled a bit overseas and had some great times, but being into running and loving the trails and the views, I really think I need to do some trail running in the Swiss Alps, and some of those places look amazing. Yeah, so they could potentially be future favourite holiday destinations. Who knows?
So true. We used to, for our family holidays, I used to look at what are the races coming up and then plan the family holiday around the races coming up. So I can understand that one.
Yeah, Gold Coast was good. I did that for Gold Coast. Yeah.
What's your morning
marathon? I can run a marathon now, not just 5K. So
good
I've
on you.
Improved, but that's a good way to do it.
So true. What's your morning routine?
Sometimes I'm getting up early and doing work stuff, but ideally, if I can get up, well, I'm pretty consistently, my own business, I'm getting up at all hours or waking at all hours, but it's all new and lots of thinking going on. But ideally, sort of up 5:30, get out for a run 6 to 7 o'clock. I didn't mean to do that. And then get ready for the day with the family, get breakfast, all that, get to work. And as I say, my daughter drives to school on the L's. We get a bit of that in and then off to work, and usually try to get the meetings and calls and dollar productive stuff done earlier in the day or when you're focused and before you hit that flat period in the afternoon. Although I find most of the time I seem to kick on all right, but I die in the night time probably a bit.
Which was going to be my next question. Do you have an evening routine?
Oh, yeah. Evening routine, yes. Well, yeah, sometimes I could be at the office till, we'll say 6:37 sometimes. Get home and, sometimes it's a little bit of extra work, but usually trying to do something with the kids. We've got a youngest daughter, got a couple of guinea pigs, and check in on how they are going, and cute little 6-week-old ones. And,
wow.
getting
Nice.
the chores done or seeing others get the chores done, but some family time, before I crash.
Beautiful. And do you have a most embarrassing moment?
Probably I could share a real estate one it was interesting.
Go for it.
A few years ago now, I went to take some photos of a property that was acreage. It was out in the sticks a bit and there was no fence line, so I actually got a bit lost. I went with the camera, left my car, left my phone in the car, left the map in the car, just thought, I'll just go down this little way and I'll just get another shot down here. Next thing, I've wandered off and I got myself lost and caused a big commotion. I knew where I was. I found a little weekender, stayed there overnight. I found some firelighters and matches. I even got the barbecue going to get a little bit of warmth. It was winter and a bit chilly. I had helicopters flying over looking for me that night. I had police yelling out or putting the sirens on. I could hear them, but when I'd go towards them, it was pitch black and there was like a big drop and it was like, I can't do this tonight. So next morning I came out, did the Hansel and Gretel and found I was going the wrong way. So I just followed where the sounds of the traffic were and just made my way out. And then I found the people the next morning who were looking for me. So, so it was a little bit embarrassing. I really upset or worried my family and my wife. And I didn't have the phone, so I couldn't contact anyone. But, a lot of friends had a fair bit of fun with that.
I can imagine. If you could choose 5 inspirational people to have dinner with, who would they be? They could be dead or alive.
Okay. I like David Goggins. I'd go with David, or Goggins as he'd be called. Probably if I did a real estate person, I'd say maybe someone like Matt Steinwide. I like how he does his own health stuff and he balances with real estate and he's done well with real estate. Be interesting to talk to him. Sylvester Stallone. It'd be interesting. Good old Rocky movies. My mum, I lost my mum a few years ago. I think can't replace, talking to her are going to be pretty special. Maybe someone like Bon Scott just to stir it up a bit. I love AC/DC. Get a party animal in amongst them. It'd be an interesting night, wouldn't it?
It would be. It would be. Now, if you're a Prime Minister for the day, what's one thing that you would change?
Oh, okay. I don't get political very often, but I think the capital gains tax issues, I think that's an interesting one. And I will get a little political where I guess they're looking at changing that. I think I would not change it and charge a higher amount of capital gains. I think that's got the chance to stifle investors in the market, and it's the renters that are going to pay for that. So that's something I would, if I changed it, I'd probably reduce the capital gains to get more investors in to alleviate the pressure. That's the housing pressure is a big one for our industry, and obviously being in real estate as a Prime Minister for the day, I think that's something I'd be trying to help out there. And I'm just finding now the amount of tenants that have to move when we sell, there's more owner-occupiers rather than investors coming in. The more that happens, the more they're finding it hard to find a house, and the more the rents are going to be up in price. So that's something I'd look at.
So true. And what would be your best piece of advice?
Oh, best piece of advice? There's a few sayings I like, but one is quitter never wins and a winner never quits. I like motivation, positivity, and never giving up. But I'd say getting that balance, if you're in business with family, remember how important and what your why is. Most people will often, it is the why is to do the best for their family. Well, you're not doing the best if you're never at home and you just work. And, I'm conscious of that. And even though at times I'll have to get a blanket of work in, I think, never forget the importance of that, those closest to your family, your friends, and definitely make time. Yep. It's just book the time out in your diary, make that appointment. Yeah, I think that's good advice for anyone.
So true. And where can the audience find and follow your story and reach out? Where's the best place?
Yeah, look at Storrier Realty, as you say. Storrier Realty, whether it's on the website or the socials, you'll find Brett Storrier. Yeah, you Google. I've been in it 20 years, and I guess
you're there.
the new place, Storrier Realty. That the digital footprint might show the previous employment too. But yeah, Storrier Realty. Whether you're local, you can just pop into the office in the main street or give us a call as well.
Fantastic. Brett, really appreciate your time, energy and your expertise and sharing all your insights. Really appreciate it, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Shorty. It's been a pleasure.